Welcome to Retro Spectacles. I am Mitch Marzoni, and with me, as always, a man who, like Atreyu, has also ridden a white horse in a foreign land. How are you today, sir?
Yes, indeed. I'm so glad you referenced it, y'all. I wish y'all could see the picture right now. Your boy was out here trudging through the sadness here, ready to talk about a movie that I watch with perhaps the most high-end retro spectacles of anything that we have touched here, because I remembered it from my youth, but the timing of when I watched it versus the meaning of it and truly processing it, boy, what a journey, what a quest. Who amongst us does not have a swamp of sadness that they must traverse? But I'll tell you what it isn't. It isn't this episode of Retrospectives. Well, that might be a little presumptuous. There might be a little swamp of sadness in there. I shouldn't talk too much. We could.
I would like to think that Retrospectacles is the antidote to the swamp of sadness that surrounds all of us every day. That we're doing our part to pull the reins in the swamp of sadness against the Atreyu of look around you and pull y'all out of that swamp.
We try to
hour or two at a time.
Yeah, truly though, a fascinating rewatch of a movie that is clearly for children, but is so fuck them kids in so many respects and tone that I remember I was watching it and watching the credits and shit, and it was getting in there, and I immediately was like, oh yeah, this shit German as hell. Like this is definitely, like, I didn't realize that, but very clearly that boy, Sebastian out here talking about his dreams to his dad. His dad said, hey man, fuck them dreams. I was like, I don't remember none of that. This is incredible. This shit is real. Absolutely.
I'm glad we are in fact starting at the beginning. I was a little worried because for about a minute now, we've been talking about like 3/4 of the way. No.
I'm taking it to the very beginning. Not actually the very beginning, because I have notes on the actual very beginning, and we could go back to that. But first, the German of it all, truly just incredible.
This is a culture. This is a culture that's like, you have Santa, we have Krampus. Okay.
Yeah.
Although I think actually Krampus is Norwegian.
It's so tonally, I had never connected those dots after, reading about the movie and the whole book and et cetera, and just being like, oh yeah, German dude definitely wrote this shit. He was like, hey, you out here moping around. My dad died. My mom died. Grow up, bitch. Stop dreaming about it. Get out and live. You want some Fruity Pebbles?
I think that this was meant for later in the episode. It doesn't really matter where it goes. But it's been referenced. You've referenced Surf Dracula enough times that I feel like at this point.
Glad I brought it here.
Yeah. I feel like at this point, we need to, when we're reviewing media, we need to put things on a Surf Dracula index. Yeah. And this one, and with Sandlot, I mean, perfect 10 on the Surf Dracula index.
Okay, I was wondering, 5 to 10?
There is
10. We got to build it out. Yeah.
Like, there is zero fucking around. Like, immediately, movie opens. Hey, there's this guy, Sebastian. His mom's dead. His dad does not give a shit. He thinks thinking about his mother being dead is fucking way too much time out of his day.
Bitch made material. You out here. Yeah. I don't got no picture of this woman in the house anymore.
He's like, he goes, yeah, things happen, but it's time to move on. And you're like, wait,
hey,
how long has she been dead? I need to know that. Like, has it been a week? Or like 5 years? I don't think 5 years. It feels like maybe a few months.
It feels like 6 months. Very long to me. Like the
dad is definitely already dating.
Yeah. Like, you talking 6 months top, son.
Yeah.
Top. Honestly, the dad, like, if it wasn't for the fact that this was the never-ending story, this dude's behavior would have him showing up in various investigation discovery episodes, son. You don't move like that and tell your boy, get on with the grief unless you out here trifling.
This is a man who does not refer to her by name, just calls her your mom.
Right. You don't already got to
say Samantha, Julie, whatever. He goes, your mom.
Cold.
It's like, yo, how long before he just calls her that dead lady is what I'm getting.
It's probably by the time you come home from school here.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
He's like, wait, do you think about that dead lady again? Hey, Dad.
Yeah. And now
it's been a week.
Right? I know.
So stop fucking around. Live in the now, motherfucker.
Eat the cereal.
Listen, Dad's got a hot date tonight with a 20-year-old. You're like, hey, so you're gonna have to cook your own dinner.
You got to. You're only fucking 11. You're on your own.
But I'm gonna we're having a party on Friday, so you're gonna have to make a whole culinary delight. I know you don't know how to cook yet, but come on now. Get with the program.
See, it's crazy to me, right? Because the whole thing, the book, which I can't say I was familiar that there was a book, but I was not aware of sort of the rich production history and Michael Ende's feelings about the novel and the adaptation and all this stuff or whatever. Apologies on the name pronunciation if that's wrong. But you're talking about a whole movie and a book, right? That's basically about grief and escapism and how you can lose yourself and the erasure or whatever and all that shit. And this shit is just so blunt, I think, as I kind of did not realize the extent of the grief piece. Like, I knew it was about a sad kid who was getting bullied and he was a weirdo or whatever, but I had never realized how explicit it was about grief and how you handle that and being sort of stuck at a place in life versus dismissing it and moving on and all these kind of different things, right? And so I think I probably watched this before my dad passed away, and I'm sure I watched it afterwards. But
I bet it hit very different after.
Yeah, and I would say, I don't know if it just was like the connective tissue didn't resonate over the years, but I remember watching the movie afterwards, right? And I think we talked about this before, the sense of connection with Bastian, feeling like you were an outsider, right? Not as explicitly with the bullying or whatever, but feeling like, and I will say, I did not necessarily have a parent who was like, fuck that man. You know what I mean? So to, I think, have that piece hit even more as an adult was fascinating. Of course this kid gets the book and he just sort of buries himself in this massive story here, right? But I think it was interesting to just sort of see how I made that connection as I was watching. I was like, well, I'll be damned. I probably watched this on both sides of the realm here. You know what I mean? And, interesting to see, myself now with the retrospects on being like, oh yeah, I definitely was, a Bastian with more melanin, obviously.
Yeah. I definitely didn't have the death of a parent part, but definitely had the bullying part. And so I related to that. This dude's getting fucked both ways, like at home and at school.
He's truly going through it in possibly the worst fashion. I mean, shout out to the author for being like, no, this boy needs to suffer. He needs to truly go through all of the misery and trials and tribulations of life to understand that you cannot just bury yourself in grief and escapism, and that you must go out and live and still be a full person. But I mean, I think there are several times in my notes where I'm just like, yo, they put this boy through it, son. They are really putting him through it.
Did you also read the book, or just read a lot about the book in your research?
I read a lot about the book. I did not read the book. I read about the author's Blood Vendetta, Michael Ende. There's an E. So what do you think? It's German. Do we think it's End? It's End, right? Without the E is silent. Michael Ende.
How's it spelled?
E-N-D-E.
Oh, I think they would pronounce that Onda.
Onda?
But you can call it End.
I'm not going to call it in if the whole region's going to come out here and beef with me, son. I'm not trying to go.
Hello, my name's
I'm not trying to go to war with the
Ende.
Deutschland. You know what I'm saying? On. We're going to say on.
They're quite used to. I'm pretty sure it would be Ende, but
World Cup's going on right now. Everyone's in.
I'm not
on.
a
We're going to say on
by any stretch.
And we will be corrected in various comment sections as needed. But
the NDE would go up, make it go up. That's why I'm saying that Enda. It's either Enda or Ende, but the E at the end would be pronounced. It doesn't just sit there.
It's
Germans don't just
I've
throw
Americanized
letters
it. They don't throw letters like us. They don't do the green with the E and silent like black people do.
No. They throw all kind of. My favorite thing about the German language is that every word is a compound word. So like to say, oh, the Germans have a word for that is like, yeah, they mash together 8 different words to make one word. Like the word for matchstick means wood that creates fire, something like that. It's like a very long word where they were like, well, we have a word for wood, we have a word for fire, we have a word for create, and they just mashed them together. Like, there you go, match and sticking.
Yeah.
And so that's how their language is very interesting in that way, that they have these words where you're like, oh yeah, the Germans have a word for that feeling, emotion.
Yeah, so obviously.
Well, it's made of like 10 different.
They just take
concepts.
all the words together.
Yeah, and they're like, we call that Weltschmerz. Weltschmerz is like Weltschmerz was one of my favorite German words back in the day. And it was just like, it was kind of the opening your window and going, like, God, the world out there, just how do I get out of bed today? That's the Weltschmerz.
Okay, all right, that's pretty good. Pretty good. I think sonically it sounds like it. Right. I will say this came up because not to get into the verdict too early, but I was thinking, outside of the retrospects and the connection and the grief and this boy not being the elite serial without his dad saying, hey, don't enter the door if the cops come knocking. Yeah. I think
time for you to sack up, you bitch.
Yeah.
What, you got a dead mom or something?
Yeah,
Dad.
Yeah, I do actually. She was your wife. Hey, watch your mouth.
Talking about that dead lady again, aren't you?
I kept thinking, okay, well, I'm shocked that this hasn't been adapted again in some sort of fashion, that we don't have some sort of never-ending story. I think especially with Masters of the Universe coming out and being pretty good.
They did do another one of these. Yeah, they did. Not just the sequel. They remade it. Recently.
Yes. Were you talking about Never-Ending Story 3 or what?
No. They remade the original. I don't
Masters of the Universe?
No. Never-Ending Story.
No, they have not. What are you talking about?
I saw it on IMDb. I swore I saw it on IMDb.
There is a announced project that has nothing. There's no director. There's no cast. There's no script. There's nothing. There is nothing whatsoever at all. Okay. But I would say that is kind of what I was looking into. Right? Is essentially like, okay, you've had because Ende, what did we say?
Ende.
No, it's Ende. As an Ende. So, I am a man of professional, it's Ende. Professional standards here, Mitch. I will not let them degrade here. That man apparently did not fuck with the adaptation at all in 1984. He said that your boy Wolfgang Petersen essentially cut him out of the script writing process, right? I had not read the book, so I did not realize there's the whole second half of the book. Like, I knew there was a second movie. Mm-hmm. And it was like, okay, there's not a second book. It's just half of the other book where like Bastian continues to go through it. Surprise, shocker. And they were like, that's a little bit too much. Why don't we just stop it? Why don't we just stop it right here? And he was like, hey, you're like missing the whole point of the book, because the kid goes and he loses himself and he has to come back and the grief. You got to understand, this is it. The boy has to be miserable, and then he's got to realize he can't lose himself. And they're like, we say that for the second movie. And you
need a Guillermo to do a 2-part is what you need. You need Guillermo del Toro to do like, hey, rocks. He's like climbing up on things.
I was wondering.
He's very excited.
Okay.
You need somebody like that, somebody who really gives a shit about like the visuals. The only problem with Guillermo is that he's really into the visuals, and then it's like, hey, Guillermo,
you don't want the Frankenstein problem.
And he's like,
you don't want the Frankenstein problem. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, what about the story? And he goes, hold on. I'm making something that looks incredible. Yes, it looks incredible.
Yeah.
But if you can get Guillermo teamed up with somebody who tells a good story, maybe Peter Jackson, but he's too obsessed with Lord of the Rings. But that's what you need. If there is, that sounds really good. Now I got to read that book. I'll add it to my long list of books that I've been meaning to get to. Yeah. But the idea that what we saw was the top of a mountain that then goes down and then back up again, presumably, sounds like, oh man, a 2-part, just a 2. I'm guessing you don't need a 3rd. If you do those expertly, that could really be something. That could really be something. But does this world allow this kind of story to be told?
No, absolutely not.
Would they make it this like? I'm saying they would
sanitize everything. There's no way to make the NeverEnding Story.
It would be way too like they'd be like his mother's like lightly injured. She's got a broken ankle.
She's still in the hospital with cancer.
There's one guy at school who doesn't like him.
Yeah, the bullying is too soft. You know what I mean? Like that's part of why I think this thing is fascinating, because you're looking at how villains and children's movies, we keep talking about this, get sanitized, right? Villains aren't real. The actual stakes, consequences, the real nitty gritty of life just gets smoothed out. And so a movie like this that is so stark in being like, these kids are fucking bullies. They're pieces of shit. There's misery out here. Somebody's just moving through. There's sadness. There's nothingness. Like there's a level of, I don't want to say nihilism, but there is a bleakness to this film that you step back at certain points and you go, well, damn, this is a children's movie? This for kids?
That's the conversation I knew we were going to eventually have to have.
There it is.
What is a children's movie anyway?
This movie is clearly for children.
I want you to finish your thought. I don't want to jump in real quick there.
I will say, right, like this, adolescents, teenagers, whatever, tweens, they won't call them tweens in 1979, obviously. But to me, to your point, right, he sued. Like part of the reason we didn't get the adaptation to sort of tie it all together is because Ende was so pissed at the adaptation getting cut out, the script, it was too far from the book. He said he wanted production halted. Then he said to change the name. They basically said, hey dog, we're not doing none of that. I'm so sorry, big dog. We are gonna keep it.
Got this here paper that says you can go fuck yourself.
All right. Then he sued. Take a guess how that went. Unfortunately,
not well.
Did not go well for him. Took the loss.
Suing Hollywood rarely works out.
Especially when you sign the agreement, took the money, you out here. Now your man holds a press conference, right? And tries to distance himself from the movie. This ain't me. He also referred to the film a gigantic melodrama of kish and commerce, plush and plastic. I can see why it took so long to get an adaptation. And even now, your theory, all right, we're going to do 2 movies because that's what they want to do. Hey, we got the thing. They signed a deal, right? All right, we're going to do some films. We're going to do whatever. But if you're trying to reel this source material out to the public right now, this shit is bleak, son. Like, they out here smoothing out fucking hoppers at Pixar, okay? You think you doing the gritty reboot of the NeverEnding Story in a way that's more authentic and faithful to the source material? That shit is grim. That shit is diabolical.
Is Ende still with us?
He is not. He passed.
Okay. Well, there's one less hurdle.
He died in 1995, which is part of what happened even after he died. There, he might have. There was an 11-year limbo where the rights were frozen because of the lawsuit losing in the film. Yeah. He basically just hey, no, absolutely not. We're not doing none of that.
I can only imagine like how, like the smallest version of that. I've written like little tiny, basically student films and stuff like that. And it can be frustrating when you take your script to like your friends and they're like, oh yeah, let's make a little, half-hour movie or whatever. You're like, all right, awesome. And they go, well, so we got to change this and this isn't going to work. And I don't like this line. And you're like, hold on. Just even that, it's like But the whole point is like, so I can't imagine if you create, because I'm talking about like I was writing stuff in the real world as far as that goes, like nothing that involved ghosts or whatever have you.
Sure.
But imagine he's like, okay, so I got all these fantasy creatures, and they're like, fuck all that, we got our own. Like, what?
Yeah. And
there's a reason why this is this way and this is that way.
They're detailed here. It's fascinating. It's also a fascinating artifact as a movie because the opening, to jump back, we jump it back, but the opening title, the NeverEnding Story, the actual theme song, which
love the theme song.
Love the theme song. I wrote this, and my first note was, I don't actually remember this song, but it is some 1984 ass shit if I've ever heard it. Complimentary.
Oh, 100%.
And so it was like, yo, when I found out that they actually, like, they had, again, I think fascinating, the German version had a original score, and they're like, get that shit out of here. We're bringing in Giorgio Moroder.
Like marching music.
Yeah, we're bringing in the fucking synth guy who just did Flashdance and Scarface. And he put together
one out of two ain't bad. As far as like happy upbeat songs.
Yeah. I mean, look, the shit is incredible. Apparently, fun fact, the NeverEnding Story theme song reached number 17 on the US Hot 100 at its peak.
Wow. I mean, every time I look on my DVD shelf and I see the title of the movie, I sing a little bit of it in my head. Story. See, the sadness is what resonated for me, not the upbeat Giorgio synth joint. I wish it was the opposite. That's why the show works.
It is an actual really fascinating juxtaposition between the theme song being so upbeat, synth heavy, and the movie itself being, I am going to bludgeon you with the most unrelenting pursuit of understanding grief and its widespread complications.
Right. Okay. So we at least agree that this is the most efficient first 5 minutes of a goddamn movie.
Yeah.
Like,
Surf Dracula scale. Yeah. It's up there. It's 10. It's 10 out of 10.
I mean, it's on the Surf Dracula index. I mean, we know, like, at no point you're going, but when are they going to get? Oh, okay.
yeah. To your point, we even get to the actual book.
Yeah.
Mad quick, right? Like, the kid gets bullied, and first of all, we would be remiss not to talk about.
I'm just starting the popcorn. My soda is about a third tops. I'll have,
you not even got a few,
I'm like, okay, I'm getting settled in. Oh, there's the book.
Yeah. and you know what I'm saying? Two things on those scenes. First, the book, I love the fact that the dude who is with the book is just such a character actor.
And so good. So good.
And the way he does forget about this book. This book isn't for you unless you like trouble. Yeah. I'm like, oh yeah, man, this shit would have absolutely reeled me the fucking.
They imported 100%. That guy from Germany for that.
100%. Look,
look, your books are safe.
Yeah.
You put the book down, you go about your life. This is not safe. And you're like, go ahead, because I think we have the same question, but go ahead.
Yeah, my thing, like, two things. First is, you tell me, as a troubled, semi-orphan youth, forget about this book. This book isn't for you. I am probably going to steal that book. I'm taking the book. I'm assuming you knew that I was going to take the book. The other piece of this... He knew. He had to know. The other piece of this is, to the point about sanitizing. The bullying in this scene that Bastian endures is pretty fucking vicious, son. They try to put the boy back in the trash can, son.
Yeah.
Like, you don't really see the bully and the follow-up anymore. It's real nerfy bullying out here. But that's how you gotta be as a bully in these streets. You can't just walk away after you put the dweeb in the trash can. You gotta hang out for 5 minutes. Cause that bitch gonna wanna get out the trash can. Hey, where you going? Ain't you supposed to be in there? Spend an hour inside. You better fear me. That's real bullying. You gotta show kids how it happens. Not every kid gets bullied.
That's like a tonal shift, but similar to in Raising Arizona, Nicolas Cage, H.I. McDonough, he robs a joint and he's like, all right, count to 100, lay down on the floor and count to 100. And he takes off and they get around like 42. The guy gets up and he's like, he's not even. And he comes back. He's like, oh shit, 46.
Yeah. You got to do it.
Very similar where you were like the reason I told you to count to 100 is I'm coming back at 71. You know what I mean? So you very much
lay down the law.
Yeah.
I also think
so.
It's
like, get in the trash can.
Yes.
Stay in it. I'm coming back. Stay in the trash can.
Yeah. It is also fascinating to have seen it in this very blunt force depiction of what bullying is, right? As a practical concept.
I have a bully story that's similar.
Okay.
It's like the most traumatizing period of my life. To this day, I have a deep-seated like aversion to glitter because of this. The day my dad told me that they were getting a divorce, like I came home from school and my dad was home, and that was very strange for me because my dad was never home, and I was like, oh shit, like something real is going down. And he goes, hey, take a seat, and all this, and explains it to me, and then he left, which still to this day I don't quite understand. Like, not like let's go out for ice cream.
He said, I'm out.
Yeah, it's like,
you sit with that. Honestly, sounds very similar to Bastian's dad, where he was hey, that sounds like some shit.
So that's reality. You know what I mean? He didn't like leave my life after that conversation.
No, but he left the room and the building. Yeah,
like he left the house.
Yeah,
and then so I was just like alone at home, just with the weight of this on me, and I was just like angry. I had been getting bullied at school. I was at a new school anyway. He had laid some heavy shit on it. You guys are probably going to have to move. You're probably going to downsize to an apartment, like all kind of shit like this. And I was like, wow.
And then
like a backyard and a dog and no more pool. I didn't have a pool at that point, but our previous house had a pool. So I was like, we're not getting a new house. We're not finally getting back to a pool house, are we? And I went into my sister's room. I don't know. I was just like preemptively pissed off at her. Like, she's got this perfect life. And I just kind of started thrashing around in there. Not a cool thing to do. But I grabbed this bag of glitter. It was one of those like goopy things. And I kind of just threw it against the wall. The fucking thing exploded all over me. And man, I tell you, you cannot take one shower and get glitter out. That's like a 5-shower ordeal.
That's a multi-day
caught
scrub.
At a strip club will tell you that one. And I'm telling you that, like, I thought I had gotten a pretty good scrub going until the next day at school, and I was sparkling everywhere which way I went, and just got the ever-loving piss kicked out of me. And every day afterwards, I'd scrub a little harder, and I'd come back to school, and the fucking morning sun, Phoenix sun, bearing down on you, sparkling.
You was out here like Robert Pattinson in Twilight, huh?
Yeah, and I remember this the biggest bully. He was like, if I see a spot of glitter, I'm punching that spot 3 times. And I was like, fuck. And I mean, I'm talking scrub my skin off trying to get that glitter off.
And how old were you again?
I would have been 10.
Jeez. So you're Bastian. Really is Bastian.
And I remember like, I finally was like, I went like a few days with no punches. And I was like, hell yeah, man. Fucking all right. And then we were decorating Christmas cards.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh no. Oh
he
no.
He just went upside and dumped the whole bag on my head and just pow right in front of the teacher, right upside my face.
That's insane.
And they were like, she was like, all right, boys, quit fighting. And I'm like fucking knocked out. Like I'm
knock that rough housing off. You're like, there is a
come on, boys. And I was just like, yeah. And it started back again. I only got out of it because, fucking Christmas break. Thank God. And I had plenty of time to wash all that off. Anyway, so
wow.
That's my thrown in the trash story. But like, as far as like 80s bullying, when they didn't fuck around before parents gave a shit or anything like that, you'd go to the principal. They were like, well, what did you tell him? Did you tell him to knock it off? And you're like, You're the fucking principal.
Yeah.
What are you like? Yeah, that kind of shit.
What I think also complicates this is the fact that, the school grounds, the legal liability stuff, and I don't think the law is maybe necessarily caught up, is you've got the kids now doing all the deep fake stuff, right? Like, it's a new way to bully somebody, to do an AI deep fake or whatever you want to say of them, pornographic image, obviously, depending on the age and stuff like that, right? You're getting into actual, child abuse and whatever style materials it's referred to, specifically, technically. But that is a social humiliation that existed. It used to be, I got to take this magazine and put your head over the penthouse, and I gotta really work, and I gotta stitch these letters together for my ransom note, But now,
weekend Photoshop course, at least.
I gotta really have some skill and some craft. But now, if you're to school, right, and I'm out here being, deep faked and cyberbullied, and they out here with a bullshit tape of me, and even teachers are getting this. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's not just students, right? Yeah, everybody out here. Everybody out here getting it. Well, what the school district gonna say to me, superintendent? You know what I'm saying? You can't tell me, well, it's not on school grounds. Well, fuck, was it on a school device? Did they use that? Do we have to get super technical then? So it's a totally different world. But to me, it's crazy of how the bullying works, in the sense that, as a practical concept, right? That you can literally just roll up on somebody, especially in 1984. You could just roll up on somebody and be like, give me your valuables or I will beat the shit out of you. It is just such a wild thing that exists, especially then, I feel like, when you realize how much of it happens at a macro micro level in society, right? Like, how much of unfortunate geopolitical, socio-economic, cultural things are just, in many respects, codified bullying, right? But to see it in the more, what you experience, visceral fashion, you're just like, it's fucking crazy to think that administrators were just like, it was like known, and it was like a part of life. That was the general vibe. Like, to get through it.
Did you ever see 3 O'Clock High by chance?
I don't know if I saw that.
Okay, all right.
So got another one for the queue.
Yeah. That's a high school story. It's an 80s, I think, late 80s maybe movie. The basic plot is that there's a guy that comes to school who's known as, like, he's killed a guy, like he's a tough dude, and the whole thing is like, don't touch him or he will kill you. Like, literally, he will kill you.
Okay.
And the lead character touches him at one point, like, innocently, was like, hey man, the way you would, you just tap somebody on the shoulder, hey man, and it was like, oh, you touched him, and he's like, at 3 o'clock, I'm killing you. And everybody knows, the whole school, principal, everybody's like, all right, we're showing up at 3 o'clock. And it was just like, I realize it's a comedy, but I'm saying that, like, that's not, but it is a reflection. Like, it was kind of like,
it was appointment viewing.
You're going to get
watch someone get their ass beat. Yeah.
And they're like, you hit him back. And it's like, oh yeah, sure. I wish it was just one. I would love to just hit one guy back, but it's 7 of them.
Yeah. You're getting bullies usually.
What you want me to do is 7.
Yeah, you can't. You're not gonna be able to take them on. But
2 of them holding your arms, 2 holding your legs. You got 3 extra dudes.
Literally trying to put this kid back in the garbage can. What is he supposed to do, man? I mean, there's only so much. He's supposed to
stand up for himself and say, "No, don't put me in the. I don't like that." Did you tell him you don't like?
Please don't.
That was literally advice that I got. Was, well, you tell him you don't like that. Oh yeah, that.
Okay.
Are you a human?
Yeah, it's the. Let me ask you something.
When somebody hits your car in traffic, do you roll down your window? Hey, I don't like that.
Well, excuse me. I'm so sorry. I mean, it must be nice for life to work for you that way, right? There are people who can just say, "Hey, I didn't."
Hey, boss, I don't like that.
I don't appreciate that. Don't care
for that.
My God, we got to rectify this. So I just, I mean, to me, crazy that you experienced that, but also, like, it makes a lot of sense. I will say this. I feel like part of the reason that the movie works so well, even if it may not be what Ende was wanting for the adaptation, is that Bastian is great. The actor who plays him, name's escaping me, Barrett Oliver, excuse me, who was like a legit good child actor in that era, did a lot of things. And so you're getting real acting, but you're also getting the sincerity of a child reading a book and investing themselves. And there are those scenes where Bash is like, get up, you get up. And you're like, yeah, that was me. I definitely did that several times when I was fully reading a book, or you get to the end of a chapter and you exclaim or you do something, whatever. And so I think that's where, to your question, I guess, of is it a children's film or not? Well, does a children's film necessarily need to be happy, uplifting, positive, inspiring, or can it be those things while you have to trudge through the swamp of sadness, right?
I think we're a better people, a better society, a better culture when we not necessarily treat children like adults, but give them agency, that not everything needs to be padded and carefully curated and sanitized and everything else like that. Sanitize is a great word for it, because literally that's how you get super germs, by too much sanitation. You know what I mean? If everybody's washing their hands 24/7, they never get sick. They never get a chance to build up immunity and things like that. I'm not saying everybody should go out there and get bullied.
No, right?
That's not what. Don't misbehave. But the idea that a kid's movie has to be like nothing but sunshine and rainbows,
nerfy,
it drives me up the wall.
It drives me insane. Yeah, and I think
let this kid have a dead mom. Let's start with that.
And
let the kid have a dead mom,
and you can see things
and an
happening.
Absentee father.
Right. And he's getting bullied, and he has literally no friends and no life and nothing and no one except for this book that he turns into, that potentially becomes too much escapism because he's losing himself. Right. I think what's fascinating about what you were describing, it is obviously not a children's film, but I think a lot of the themes that you just walk through are very present in 28 Years Later. Right.
Okay.
With, the father and the son going out and hunting, and him, the kid, being reluctant to take on that role, right? To kill, to have some of those survival instincts, and kind of being forced into it by his dad, who then even misrepresents what happens right in front of the society, because there's all of these different things going on. And so I think it's sort of fascinating to take that and then invert it, in a sense, because there's a lot of things in that sense of what it means to be a kid that are coming through in this book as well, right? And the expectations, and even the fact that, like, the princess is a child. She's 11 years old. You know what I'm saying? There's really not a lot of adults in the book or movie, I guess, right? But I think so much of this is kind of like we're saying, if there's a needle to thread of, yes, sure, you have imagination and childlike wonder and all of that stuff, but also it kind of still needs to be grounded in some sense of reality, potentially, right? And what is real and tangible, and not just completely losing yourself in fantasy and imagination, because that can also be potentially dangerous, which, as I talk about, it feels like a very German sentiment.
Yes, obviously. All things in moderation, including moderation. But, all right, jumping back in the conversation, but forward into the movie, now that the intro is firmly out of the way.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we will talk. I do want to say, 100%, the old man's like, I'm going to sell this fucking kid on this book hard.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, he was like, I was that kid. That's how I found out.
Yeah, he knows this guy sees this kid come through, and he's like, another troubled youth, huh? Another scallywag getting thrown in the trash.
I hope the phone rings or something where I could just put the book down. Because he's got that smile when he runs off with it, and he writes a little note. He's like, I'll bring it back. Like, that's the first time Bash has ever stole anything. But he's like, I didn't steal it. I was borrowed.
Yeah, technically I borrowed it. Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Also, I mean, look
he's
at that
baller-ass cover. Technicality and shit. Yeah, I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
A baller-ass cover for sure.
It's a book that asks you to steal it. It's begging to be stolen. Begging.
You tell me that this book is dangerous.
Yeah.
I'm 11. I've been literally just got out of a dumpster. My mom
twice, son. They put me back in the dumpster.
Like, I'm in a dumpster emotionally and been physically twice today. You tell me about a dangerous book, motherfucker. Get out of my way. I'll push your old ass down. I'll knock your geriatric ass to the floor. Yeah,
you go into the
stealing
dumpster,
that
big
book.
dog.
Yeah. So we're talking, like 4.5 minutes into the film, he found this fucking badass reading room. The whole school, once again, it's the 80s. They didn't do roll call. They were like, all right, we're getting started on class. Like, nobody thinks about, like, hey, where's the boy whose mom just died?
Anyway, they don't care nothing about that boy.
I guess I could call home, but I'm going to be talking to a fucking answering machine because I know his dad's not going to answer.
What that man going to say to you?
Yeah.
Well, he's not here. He should be with you. Do your job. You in charge of him right now.
Well, he's not in class. Well, I guess we'll check it out later. I got to get to the office.
I'm at the motel.
I got a hot date with a 20-year-old tomorrow.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, yeah.
Come on, man. All right, man. Go on.
You get out there and get some, sir. We'll find that bastard. Don't you worry. And if we don't, I guess he'll just end up like all the other kids.
Yeah, I guess we'll search all the dumpsters in the Tri-County area.
Reagan's America. Great reading room. Not sure how that exists in a school like that, but it's like New York or something. Feel real city. I mean, alleyways, shops
very
along
urban.
the street.
Yes.
Dives right in. And it's like, it just starts with like, there was this force coming. You're like, okay, we're just getting started. Like, literally, Surf Dracula shows up right page 1.
Surf Dracula with Russian doll. Yeah, the nothing is coming. And, again, gotta say, to your point, it's real extinction level event established immediately, right? The nothing is coming. The nothing is destroying our world. We got Rockbiter out here. He out here laying it down. You know what I'm saying? But like very quickly, you open a book and you like 20 pages in and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
This is really popping off.
The world's ending. Huh? That's how we're starting.
Okay.
Not like once upon a time. Nah.
Yeah, none of that. No, this shit is grim. Not
like Jurassic Park. It's all nice and sunny and look at the park.
No.
And whoa. And it's like, they're like, no, we're starting around Act 2 when the
straight up
down.
Yeah, straight up. Some J.J. Abrams shit going on here.
Yeah.
And so it's like you absolutely are sucked in to everything story-wise. Now also, we getting our first shots of everybody in Fantasia, right? You already know what I'm going to say. The puppetry and the effects, crazy, right? Crazy on a level that puts movies released today with 3 times the budget to shame. And it makes a lot of sense.
That is another thing that I think about when we talk about like, what if they do a remake? What if they do a 2-parter? This is why I mentioned Guillermo del Toro. Guillermo would be like, we're bringing fucking puppets.
You gotta do the puppets.
Guillermo's going to be doing puppets. Because you do this shit with 3D and, oh, God, you take so much away.
Garbage.
Acting, doing your scenes to a life-size Falcor head blows away any fucking screen with dots on it. You ever, like, because they had that fucking life-size head moving. Right. Now, he doesn't, the mouth doesn't work great. Fuck all that. He could reach out and scratch Falcor's ear. That's all you need. If I could do that, I'm in.
Now, it's crazy. The Falcor scale, right? He was a roughly 43-foot frame of a recycled airplane.
Yeah, he was.
The head itself, around 200 pounds.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You had 20.
That's why that head barely lifts off the ground.
Yeah.
Probably, I'm guessing one guy for the mouth, 2 guys for the eyeballs, maybe a 4th guy for the tongue.
Yeah, there's some of this that is coming.
Maybe a guy on the side for the ears. I don't know. How many people?
What'd you guess? What's your guess? What's your guess of how many people working on Falcor?
I think you got at least one guy for the mouth. Definitely a different guy for the eyes. Maybe a different guy for the ears. I'm gonna say 4 to 5.
Wow, you are very wrong.
Oh,
you're very wrong.
Like 20? Or is it like one?
Closer, 25 people. Petersen describes a team of about 25 people working on Falkor, separate operators assigned to the nose, the eyebrows, and each lip. And because he could not move, the camera had to move. So they did these shots on a VistaVision camera mounted on a crane that could simulate flight. Now, how many people do you think were on Falkor's head and neck?
See, I was just talking about the head.
Oh, you're just talking about the head? You're still wrong.
Yeah.
You're still very wrong. You're still very wrong.
All right.
18 people, head and neck. 18 people, head and neck.
Well, now see, and neck throws.
Oh, come on, man. Come on. There's no distinction. I can get the distinction on it.
Because I was looking at the dimensions of the head, and I'm thinking if you put people inside of it, but I guess they could have done servos and shit. Probably a lot of servos. Yeah. And then you got like, oh, this is the remote for the upper right side of the lip, and this is for the upper left side of the lip. And hey, I got the control over here for the left eye, and he's got the one for the right eye, and this one's got the one for the upper ear.
You got to have all this stuff. Yeah. And I mean, I am not surprised in retrospect, you see what I did there, to discover that in 1984, with a $25 million-ish budget, this was the most expensive movie made outside of the US and the USSR at the point in time. And if you think about what they spent on, I mean, like all this shit being practical effects is you gotta spend a shitload of money. You got a fucking airplane that you gotta convert into a dragon dog. That shit is not cheap. It's not cheap.
Now they can call him a luck dragon all day long, but I know a goddamn golden retriever when I see one. And Falkor's just a giant flying golden retriever. Now, here's the thing. I've been doing this all my life. I don't know if you do this now or ever. But every time a dog with big floppy ears, I pull the ears back and I go, Atreyu! It's fun to make you pull the ears back and you go, Atreyu!
I don't
you ever do that? Now, there's a TikTok trend I need to see. Yeah. People just pull the ears back and go, dogs love it.
I don't do the Atreyu.
They get the ear scritches that they love so much. Atreyu! With the ears back. Come here, Brox. Now he's not going to come. Come here.
Have you scared him away with all of your Atreyu battle cries?
I'll do it to Brox. I'll try you. I'll try you.
I don't.
He loves it. He's happy. I promise.
I don't think I can connect the dots with the Atreyu rally cry. I think I've done that to Rosie.
Because when he's flying through he's flying through the air and his ears are back because of the wind, even though it's in space. But I'm saying that look. I think of that like with every dog with floppy ears. When they run, they had that same kind of look. So it's fun to kind of pull their ears back.
Yes. No, I mean, I can see.
I've done that to your dog,
and I know you have. I'm understanding now that
I probably didn't say Atreyu out loud, but in my mind,
you did. But in your head, you did, and now I know to hear it across the room next time you do it.
You're gonna do it the moment this is over. You're gonna pull it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go out there with a wrap up. Yeah.
But yeah, Falkor's just a golden retriever, right?
Look, I understand the beef that Ende has with the production, specifically around Falkor. If he's supposed to be a lion-like dragon, we're talking about some sort of Sphinx-like creature, right? Or some sort of griffin or whatever, right? Some sort of, mythological thing that is a little bit terrifying, right? It might be awe-inspiring, but it's also terror-inducing.
The chimera that's got the dragon scales?
The chimera, that's what I'm thinking of. That's what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of something like that, right? He would be like, what is this fucking dog friendly childhood pet shit? Like you think about some of the scenes, not to
listen, you can talk all the shit you want, and Ende, but me, as for me and my house, we love Falkor, and I will hear no guff.
You don't want the lion-like dragon of the book fame. You don't want that. Listen, you fine with Falkor as is.
Listen, I fell in love with what I fell in love with. All right.
His mama named him Falkor. I'm gonna call him Falkor.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
I fell in love with Falkor. Now, if you're gonna try to tell me, he should have looked like, I don't give a shit. I fell in love with what I fell in love with.
You know what this feels like? You know what this feels like? This feels like the problem I think they be talking about with dinosaurs, where they everybody thinks the dinosaurs look one way. But they actually be having all the feathers and shit, and now they can't update none of the dinosaur.
And they had feathers.
And they were like, and nobody wants to see.
I want skinny leather bitches. I want them skinny leather dinosaurs. Fuck you.
They don't want none of that shit. They're like, I'm watching Prehistoric Planet on the Apple TV. I'm not trying to see no fucking feathered bitch out here. Show me the real dino.
Give me some
What
skinny
Spielberg's
fucking
at?
leather. That's what I want.
Get these goober ass dinosaurs
Skinny,
out of here.
flightless leather birds.
That's what I feel like. If they
teeth.
come in and they do the reboot and they go and like, hey, we making Falcor the real lion dragon face. I feel like people like you would be like, hey man, get this shit out.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't give a fuck.
Listen, there's not a lot to love necessarily in the characters. They're all flawed. Every single one of them is like a little bit snippy, or like has a chip on their shoulder, or is like wildly depressed. The only one who's like really got their shit together is Falcor, and God damn it, I need to love him, and I do. And
I need to love him the way I know him. I don't want to see
you go changing up Falcor, and it's like, well, shit, man. Who do I root for up in this?
What else is left?
I got a suicidal horse. I got a depressed, rock biting potential cannibal, which we'll get into. We got a guy who hates his own bat. We got the racing snail is nice, but the top hat dude, there's not much to him. All we know about him is he's got a racing snail. We don't get any backstory about him.
I did not realize, obviously as a child, because it hadn't happened for many respects, but the old boy from Tim Burton's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Deep Roy, plays the teeny weeny snail rider, which, you know, I'm like, all right, man, you've been kicking around for a while here. Okay.
Yeah.
Good on you.
Yeah, I was surprised when I looked that up. I was like, oh, that's what, all right, fair enough.
Yeah, okay. That's what you've been doing.
Good gig if you can get it, man.
Hey man, look, you gotta, work is work, I suppose. Now, the monsters. Okay, we're gonna bury it in my head forever. I personally also, on the visual effects side, I had to do the double take because I was like, this has nothing to do with Jim Henson, right? Which did not have anything to do at all. It's just that period where in the 80s, we had all of these fantasy movies that were very dark, very mature in a lot of their themes, but ostensibly
Dark Crystal, Labyrinth
for children, right? Dark Crystal, Labyrinth, Legend. You could even make Willow is in there as well too.
Are you talking like live action stuff, or can we throw Secret of Nim in there?
I think I would go fully live action here. I would disqualify Secret of Nim. I would say adjacent and relevant.
Yeah, relevant for the darkness, but
not
you're saying like Jim Henson stuff. Because Jim Henson's Willow, Jim Henson's Dark Crystal, Labyrinth.
Yeah, pre CGI.
I don't think he had Legend. With Legend.
No, I don't think he was in there. That was Ridley Scott.
Right.
And then you had the ill-fated Return to Oz, where another book series where all the Oz books get very, very weird and a lot of fucked up stuff happens. And, they try to do that. And I've seen some clips around and floating around recently. It's kind of very funny. And it's just like, oh, yeah, this shit is not. I can see why people aren't really in a rush to go see this movie. But it's interesting because I think to kind of what we're focused on here, right? The sort of good for its time, good for my time. NeverEnding Story is not a box office success. Not that is mattering here, right?
No.
None of these movies,
none of these movies really hit.
Yeah. None of these movies.
It doesn't
really
matter
for
success. It doesn't matter for how you and I or like a person or a child feels about the movie, but
cultural assessment.
Contest, yes, as the conversation of our cultural assessment, and I feel like I just get that out of the way now because I know we talk about box office a lot, and I'm always like,
Yeah, I know. That's why.
For the folks at home, that's
this guy fucking hates box office mojo. He can't stand those raggedy bits.
I acknowledge and I accept. You know what I mean. And there's certain that's an aspect of like, I always like knowing, loosely, but. There's the things you can't measure for one, and for the other thing is like a separate discussion, but in the similar vein anyway, is when I look up like record sales on bands that are today, say multi-platinum, and you look at their like earlier works. For example, like when I was in high school, I didn't know anyone who didn't have Marilyn Manson, Portrait of an American Family. And that didn't go gold until like 2007. And right. I'm like, how? Yeah. Everybody I knew had that fucking album. And like, they were like, yeah, it sold a pretty measly 112,000 copies. I'm like, I must have known all 112,000 people.
Everybody went to my high school. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, similarly, Nine Inch Nails, Pretty Hate Machine, I think to this day, lifetime sales still hasn't hit platinum. I could be wrong. It's possible by now it has. Similarly, Nirvana's first album, Bleach, when they did Unplugged in New York, the very first thing that Kurt Cobain says, before the first thing he says, the first song, he goes, "This is our first record. Most people don't know it." Gets that first note and people
about a girl,
up. Yeah. And I'm like, everybody in that audience owns that album. Everybody in that album. Everybody. And probably, I'll bet you, if you looked at the numbers, the day that was recorded, 100,000 people maybe worldwide had that album. And they were all in that room. Similarly, this kind of thing where it's like, oh, everybody knows NeverEnding Story. Everybody's seen that. Well, the box office says like 20 people saw it.
And I think that's what's fascinating because it's, again, when we talk about the lack of syndication and, you know, all these things now for younger generations and the lack of cultural connective tissue to things that came before them and not having frames of references, and even some of the dialogue around filmmakers, right? Not having other things to reference culturally besides film. Are you reading books, movies, magazines, TV? Are you going to parks? Are you doing shit? Are you going out? You're just watching movies all the time. But in this respect, ironic thing to say. Yeah. But I think for this piece, right, it's relevant in the sense that it's so perfect timing for a film like this because it's the emergence of cable. It's the emergence of VHS. And that's where the NeverEnding Story really gets into the cultural sort of, you know, jet stream, right? It's not because of that box office run. It's because over the years, people are buying it and there's word of mouth and et cetera, whatever, right? And then you get into the second one and then it just sort of has the long tail. But for, again, full context, here is, and again, this is also pre sort of like formal era, like you're saying for music, pre-sound scan, right? Where you look at some of these things and you're like, these numbers are might as well back of napkin. Who the fuck really can say? But, you know, as best as we have. Here's your 1984 box office, which I think just puts it in perspective. Nobody was really trying to see that shit at scale in that time period, right? Number one movie, 1984, Beverly Hills Cop.
Okay.
Followed by Ghostbusters, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, Gremlins, Karate Kid, Police Academy, Footloose, Romancing the Stone, Star Trek III, The Search for Spock, and Splash. Just outside the top 10, Purple Rain, Terminator, A Nightmare on Elm Street, Dune.
I actually didn't know Terminator did that well. I thought that the first one was kind of an underperformer and later got the reappraisal, but that's interesting to know.
Yes. Did pretty well. I mean, you know, also was super relatively, I think, cheap to make. So I think it was over-indexed box office wise. But yeah, I think to that point, right? Like you're not looking at a American movie-going public that is seeing the NeverEnding Story and being like, oh yeah, sign me up for that shit, right? It really does seem to be somehow it gets onto cable, right? And then you've got sort of millennial Gen X people like us who are watching and viewing and carrying it with them and the love of characters like Falcor and Atreyu and, you know, Bastion and all the wonder of it and the song, obviously, and all that.
Yeah. Now one aspect that's lost in all of this, and there's no way to get this number. It's one of those unknowables. No one kept a record. No one would be able to, blah, 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 blah. Anecdotally, throughout the 80s, pre-Blockbuster / into Blockbuster, every neighborhood, every fifth strip mall, at least in every city I've ever been in, there was a fucking video store. Mom and pop. Many gas stations had a video store in the back of the gas station. I don't know if you remember that. It'd have a little rental shelf.
Yeah, sure. Many of them,
I distinctly recall being on a camping trip with a friend of mine at like 12 years old. I was on a camping trip with a friend of mine with his family. We went to a gas station that had a rental thing in the back. And he goes, I'll bet you $5 they got NeverEnding Story on that shelf. And I was like, you've been here before. He's like, no. Every single one of these gas stations, they got a NeverEnding Story on the thing. And I was just like, well, yeah, but they probably also have like Star Wars. And he's like, I'll bet you they have NeverEnding Stories and they don't have Star Wars. I was like, I'm not going to bet $5, whatever it was. I mean, might have been like a bag of chips or whatever. But I bet him whatever.
Respectable
the thing was.
Wager. Yeah.
Sure as shit. 2 copies of NeverEnding Story, 0 Star Wars. Mm-hmm. And he's like, I swear to God, every single time, every one of these I've been to, we go on a lot of camping trips. Every single time, NeverEnding Story is there. And I was like, it's one of those things that just stuck with me. Like, that's interesting. Didn't think I would ever use that information until right this minute. But that's a thing, is there were thousands, millions maybe, pre-Blockbuster and into Blockbuster, little tiny, and you could also include Blockbuster. They're obviously not publishing numbers anymore, but where are those numbers? Because those weren't VHS tapes sold in the numbers that you could. For example, when we talked about the original Toy Story, like they were like, oh yeah, it sold 87 million copies on a VHS. You're like, okay, Disney has those numbers. Disney keeps meticulous records. But
the Disney Vault is very, very thorough.
Right. But Blockbuster Video, one Blockbuster might buy 10 copies. Okay. But it got rented 14,000 times. So, you know what I mean? Like, where are those numbers? So we don't have those numbers. And yet, that's where I think a shit ton of people saw, generally speaking, movies of any kind.
Do we really have that dynamic anymore? I don't know that we do. I would say the closest thing that we get to that is a very bizarro version of a show like Suits hits Netflix or Peacock and then becomes the most streamed thing in the world. And then they're like, oh, we should reboot Suits. And then people are like, I don't know if we actually wanted Suits back. I just like to watch Suits. But you don't really get this thing of, right? Like, what's the equivalent of?
Well, I would say, I don't know if this is the same place you're going, but for example, Aaron Paul famously in an interview on one of the late night shows, he was like, it's very strange to be suddenly overnight famous. And they were like, but Breaking Bad's in its like 4th season. And he was like, yeah, no one knew we were until it hit Netflix. And then it was the next day. He was like, it was on the air for 3 whole years.
Right.
I went to the same grocery store every day. It's on Netflix for a day. And I got four times on the way to the grocery store. And like that overnight, like no one knew about Breaking Bad prior. Not no one, but whatever.
Right.
Similarly,
it was not in the zeitgeist.
Right. So I don't know if that's at all just because you mentioned the Suits going to Netflix, that kind of thing where it's like, now we all know Breaking Bad, but would we have known Breaking Bad if AMC didn't work out a deal with Netflix?
Like, here's a great, I mean, like, there are some examples as we continue to talk about it that I'm thinking of, right? But I think they're very different. One of the more pronounced ones to me is, I'm not sure if you watched it, but You with Penn Badgley on Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
So what's funny about that is, and I remember that
I always have to call it that show You. Like, I always have to, because I'm just like,
you gotta
fucking.
I remember seeing the ads for it on the bus when it was originally on Lifetime, and I remember going to them and being like, the fucking show's called You. What the fuck is this? And so again, there's a show that was on Lifetime. No one gave a fuck. No one gave a fuck about that show. Netflix picks Lifetime? Up the, Netflix picks them up. right? And then the show becomes a sensation, new seasons, obviously, blah, 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 blah. But you just don't see, I feel like, a lot of that action anymore, right? Where, oh, so-and-so canceled this thing, or this thing wasn't a hit, and oh, we're doing it now, it's great, box office, because there's so much fragmentation, right? Like, it's going to be hard to replicate.
The Office, Netflix on The Office, you know what I mean? Or Office on Netflix. Yeah. Like, The Office is that was one of the very first shows that Netflix added to their streaming platform back. And
I remember when it back as soon as
where you had to Netflix had to send you the CD so you could install it on your laptop or your Wii. In my case, I had to put the CD in to install it on the Wii. And back then it was 12 documentaries about cooking and a couple of comedy specials from Comedy Central and The Office. There was diddly squat on there. And yeah, The Office was one of the few things where you were like, oh, I heard about this. Yeah. I'll give it a watch.
Right.
And now it's this but it's without Netflix, would we be talking about The Office? I don't know.
I mean, I would say yes, but I don't know if it becomes as culturally...
That's a shaky yes. That's a shaky yes.
I would say yes, we would, but I don't know if it would be as super powered in terms of the downstream nostalgia, right? And not just the show itself, but also the fact that there's the Office podcast, right? Where they're going through the episodes and they're doing the rewatch, which becomes sort of a standard for everyone doing the rewatch podcast. And then you've got the fact that AT&T basically just recasted everybody for their perpetual campaign where they just kind of play themselves, but not really. And so the AT&T was like, what if we just bought The Office, but not bought The Office? Worked it out, figured it out. So I don't think those things happen without the Netflix component, but I do think The Office still is a very cornerstone comedy cultural piece. It just sort of became transcendent, if you will.
All right. Back to
yeah.
I asked this on the first podcast that we did together back years ago, but I don't know if you were a co-host yet at that point. Is the rock biter a cannibal? Because there's an argument to be made kind of either way.
Wow. Profoundly existential.
Here's my argument that he's not.
Okay.
One could say, well, he's a rock that eats rocks. All right, fair. But an alien species coming down, we're meat that eats meat. You know what I mean? But I'm not a cow, or a chicken, right? So whatever rock he's made of, limestone is a separate rock. It's a whole different, species.
Yeah, it's got its own. Yeah, okay.
So, is it cannibalism for him to eat rocks? I say probably not. In that it's not cannibalism that we're, 87% the same as a cow, and we're made of meat as well, and we eat. You know what I mean? I feel like probably it's okay, but. Some would argue that, in a pinch, he could start nibbling on that toe and call it a day. I mean, I don't know.
I gotta say, did not expect these arguments to be so fleshed out.
I'm a little surprised no one ever asks about a rock biter being a cannibal. That's been a party conversation I've thrown. Walk through, hey, was the rock biter a cannibal? And then leave the room and come back 20 minutes later. People are like, well, hold on a damn minute.
I mean, I think you make a very good point in the sense that there might be distinctions of rock species similar to, life that is, carnivore, carnivorous, right? And so just because you engage in that behavior does not necessarily make it cannibalistic, but it's borderline. Right. It's borderline.
If you don't know any better and you just came to Earth, a deer just looks like a real tall wolf with some shit on its head. Right. So a wolf eating a deer might seem to you like cannibalism if you don't know any better. But no one calls wolves cannibals because they eat deer. I don't even know if they eat deer, but let's just go with it.
Let's assume. Okay.
Right. And I don't know enough about, I'm not a a geologist, so I don't know much about rocks in that regard. Like, how different is granite from limestone or sandstone?
Yeah. Right.
I don't know. Some geologist. I don't even know if geologist is the right word. Gemologist. I guess that's gems. But now I'm Hank Schrader. Speaking of Breaking Bad. That's kind of my thinking. But it is also that's been stuck in my craw since I was a kid. Like I thought that he was presented as a kid. I thought he was a cannibal. Like I thought he was being presented as a cannibal.
Oh, I didn't get that impression necessarily. Oh, you thought okay.
I thought it was kind of cool that there was this cannibal rock waltzing around. Just be like, I'm King Rock. I don't know if I'm eating all the other fucking rocks.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I made.
And he's bummed that he can't just keep eating all the rocks.
Yeah, I mean, you probably did. It's tough to really process it.
None of this occurred to you at all.
I think I was too lost in the overall general sadness to get down the cannibalism. I mean, it's a fascinating question because I do think the other piece of this is right. Artax, the horse,
of course,
going down in the swamp of sadness. Which
are we not? I'm trying to remember. Is that before or I think that's after or before he meets the giant turtle. The
molar or whatever it is. Yeah, that's on the way to the molar, I believe. I will say some of those shots, right? The shots of Atreyu just riding the horse are so fucking gorgeous. Incredible. Gorgeous. I think I told you we I was watching it and I sent Mitch a picture of me, my wife. We happened to take a vacation for Greece for my birthday a couple of years ago, and she knows that I love horses and Greek mythology. And yes, we are seeing the Odyssey at 3:00 in the morning on the 70mm IMAX. Mitch said I got an invite. He gonna be showing up too or not?
I genuinely don't, and I'm a nighttime guy. But Jesus,
you
Christ.
better get your ass up. You better get your ass up. Anyway, she found this amazing
planning
excursion.
To get up?
What you mean? What else was I supposed to do? You just staying up the whole time?
I mean, I usually go to bed around 3, so I'm like, what am I going to go to bed at 6:00 in the afternoon?
Yeah. Yes.
I call it afternoon.
Yeah, 6:00 in the afternoon. What am I?
Sun's out. Sun's out.
Yeah, of course. She found this amazing excursion where you got to ride on horseback from like the Black Sea up through the coast and shit or whatever. Real, Odyssey, Trojan War shit. Did I, I had a lot of narratives going through my head at the time. But when I saw him on the white horse, Atreyu, and I saw Artax,
they were like, now, before you get, there's no storming the castle.
Too late.
They saw that glint in your eye. They're like, we won't be storming the castle. Maybe you're not. But this tour is taking a detour.
Yeah. But
can I show the photo in the edit?
Yeah, we can show the horse. We can show the horse.
I wasn't sure if that was a private.
Yeah, I'm teasing it up, late night talk show style. But yes, that will be go for general public. But there's a shot of me at the shores of the sea on the white horse, and as I was watching those shots of him just riding on horseback, I was like, yeah, this is definitely part of the shit that made me love horses as a kid. Right. Wanted to be on a horse because this shit is so fucking cool. It's so expansive. The music is going, galloping, and then of course the saddest shit in the world happens after the montage. You out here feeling the montage.
Like I saw this movie, like to me, I was like, I saw it pretty recently, but then I'm like, I guess it was like 2018. With the girl I was dating. It was pre-pandemic, but I was dating a woman and she had never seen it. And I was like, oh, we got to see it. And she was bawling her eyes out during the Artax scene. She was like, how did they put this in a fucking kid's movie? Like she was upset with me. Like I was like, I know. You know what I mean?
Like you were on it. Yeah.
But watching it, I watched it during like recently, last week, I watched it more or less daytime, let's say 5 or 6. The sun was still out.
And peak afternoon.
And I was, and the Artax scene came like fucking quick. I was like, I thought this was like well over halfway into the film. But it was like we just met this dude.
Again, you talking about an
we
end of
barely
Act
know
One.
Artax's name.
I thought this horse was so much more in the movie.
Yeah.
We got one cool ass scene of him riding a horse, and then they were like, nope. And I definitely did not remember the shot where you go back and forth between Atreyu crying and Bastion crying and over the book. First of all, talk about just fucking cinema. Just cooking on another level. But this shit is excruciating.
By the way, the last thing before the Swamp of Sadness is one of the maybe the only happy moment, one of the few happy moments in the movie where he goes, "Eat, that's a good idea." And he goes, "No, it's a great idea." And then he starts eating and he goes, "No, I have to save it for later." And you're like, all right. You know, like I'm cooking. Yeah. All right.
Look,
like he gets it. We're 10 minutes into the film. Like, put the sandwich down.
We gotta go.
We go over there with the popcorn going like, you're right. Yeah, let's save a little bit of like we're just getting started.
There's true, and you're just absolutely putting this guy through one of the most traumatic experiences he could possibly endure.
The number of times in the past few years, because I know the millennials and the Gen Zs and whatnot, whoever's making all the memes that are basically suicide memes, the number of times I've seen a reference to Artax in the last few years, I tell you, or just like just like a still shot of Artax is just like, this is why I am the way I am, and you're like, yeah, man, like Artax broke a lot of people.
Well, I think it's so. I mean, right? It is.
In the remake, do they kill Artax, or does he just get a little sad for a few minutes?
If he doesn't, you burn the AMC to the ground.
Yeah. We riot.
I think part of it is that he, like, I guess because of the movie and its very stark presentation of, okay, great, you love something, doesn't mean you can save it, don't mean you can stay alive, shit might die right in front of you, just like your mama. Then what?
And the thing that fucks it, like, even the horse is acting so fucking good. Like, the thing that fucks with you, and even watching it recently, even literally, is the whole time you're sitting there going like, what fucking do? You just remember how much fun it is to ride around? Or like, the horse is over there like you're having a good time, but man, I'm working.
Right.
Like,
right. The horse is trying to
had a
fight
carrot
through the
in
sadness.
a week, and you're like,
the horse.
I didn't know.
Overtaken.
What can you do with a sad horse? I'm not trying
and
to.
And truly, the answer the movie presents
saying,
sometimes is nothing. The movie actually tells you the answer in a scene is nothing. Sometimes the sadness overtakes you and is too much.
I had Brocky in my lap during that scene, and I'm just going here. I'm like looking at him. I'm like, you wouldn't, right? Like you wouldn't drown the swamp of sadness.
You wouldn't succumb to the sadness.
Like you'd remember all the times that like I gave you catnip and we played with the ball.
And I think,
we run around,
that's
right.
That's
like
what hurts, right?
Like you're having a good life, right? Like
because it's a duality of the sadness is taking
fucks with you.
It's taking Artax in. But also Artax is giving in to the sadness, right? The sadness is unrelenting.
That's the whole thing. That's the key, is that the whole thing is, well, this is a swamp of sadness. You can't let it take you.
You can't let it take you. But then it takes you because it keeps coming and it keeps coming and it keeps coming and it's so hard.
And it's a little surprising, really, that Atreyu doesn't. I mean, if I lose Artax the swamp of sadness, I don't know how I don't succumb to the sadness. Like that's his only.
That's honestly true.
That's his only hope for saving the planet. That's his best friend.
Yes,
that's his mode of trap. Like that's like that's like a big chunk of his world. Is
that's it. I mean,
and
it's
Artax is like,
that
I'm too sad, and you're like, well, how the fuck am I?
What am I supposed to do? What am I? What am I?
That's what
and
I think.
And you go.
I don't know
now.
how well that translates to kids, but certainly as an adult watching that scene, it still hits because you're just going.
How do that shit translates?
Would I today walk the swamp of sadness and come out unscathed?
A lot of people would not.
How far up to the neck would I be covered in the mud?
How much going to take you? Now, that reminds me of one of the quotes, I think it's the Mirror Gate line. I will say the other piece of this is, right, like if you were making this today, you definitely got to kill the horse, for sure. I don't know if they would. But there's that line where they say, confronted with their true selves, most men run away screaming, which is a very poignant and bleak line for a children's film. And the second point is, I feel like, again, all right, children's film, let's call it like 11 to 13, right? It's that very fine line.
Like below 11, you're like, they can't hang.
You might. I mean, like, you might have had to go through some real, like, if you get this as a 7-year-old, I'm like, hey.
This came out when I was 5, so.
Yeah. Like, if you really connect with this, like, under the age of 10, I'd be like, what's going on in your life?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what level I connect. I mean, I loved the movie, but
because it doesn't have a lot of feel good components until like the very end. There's not a lot of feel good. Like, man, I love that scene. Like it's not lost on me that the movie is so traumatizing that people still to this day think that Artax actually died in the shoot.
I was watching.
For the record,
I was doing
did not happen.
I watched this on my own to make notes, but a friend of mine who I watch movies remotely with, because she hasn't seen fucking anything, which is always a delight.
Oh, I know.
And I was like, NeverEnding Story. She was like, never heard of it. And I was like, oh, great, we got to watch that. And when the Artax thing happened, and then it moved on, she's like, wait. So he's like,
we never going back to that.
She's like, he comes back, right? Like she was like, at what point does he like turn around and like he's coming back? Like we're gonna see him come out. I was like, no. And she was just like, oh, they can't.
That's a wrap.
Do that. She goes, they can't do that. And I was like, well, they could in 1984.
Imagine a film with a scene so traumatizing that people are like, did they kill the horse for real?
Yeah. But that horse was acting his ass off.
Yo, you talking
that horse?
About,
I swear, I see tears in that horse's eyes. I could be wrong, but I swear I see him. Like Artax was like, "Fuck this."
You talk about almost 40. You talk about 40 years later. People are like, "Yo, they killed a horse on that movie." You know, they killed a horse in that scene. No, we did not. Atreyu almost died in the damn scene. The horse fell on Atreyu. That man was talking about how he broke his back. You want to talk about somebody almost died? It's me. I almost died twice.
Yeah.
And then you survive, but you must go on now with even more sadness.
Right. Without Artax.
Layer to top you. Right.
And then you meet the turtle that does not give a fuck. King of the nihilists. Don't even, like, he says at one point, we don't even care that we don't even care.
Don't you care about that?
We don't even care whether or not we care.
You're like, oh, well, fuck you. His horse just died. Have a little respect, you mountain turtle.
Yeah, nah, bro. You out here.
Whatever.
You're in the streets.
The nothing would at least be something. And you're like,
Now, I also have to say that the nothing as a entity, villain, whatever, could probably one of the cleanest things that would transfer over to a 2026 adaptation and have even more resonance than it did in 84, 79 when the book was released, of being inundated by nonsense and bullshit content and AI and fake and slops and is anything actually real? Like, there's a level that you obviously can't get into if you're adapting the story, but I think the resonance there is so applicable that the nothing is destroying everything around us would hit very differently in this version, obviously depending on what they do with Falcor's face.
It reminds me of that tweet where it's like tech bros are always like, hey guys, we created the big terrible machine from that sci-fi book. Don't create the big terrible machine.
Right. Look,
like you expect Elon Musk to be like, the nothing, huh?
Yeah. Seems great. Seems great.
Maybe that should be Grok 2.0.
The other thing that I had in my notes, since we're on this train, right? We've got him riding Falcor, Atreyu. They're going to see the nothing. He's like, all right, I gotta go, right? And Matt, you just lost Artax. right? And they like, you got to take your ass to the nothing head on. You're like, I haven't even had a mourning period yet.
No.
Okay, great.
Ain't no time for that.
I'm riding
Ain't no time for that.
The shit looks incredible, but truly, you're gonna fall into the nothing right after the swamp of sadness. I think what I wrote down here is, will this boy ever know peace?
Now, talking to Treyu, Bastion,
talking to Treyu. I'm talking to
this
Treyu.
boy just being like all of us.
Yeah. The answer is yes, Your Honor. We are all this boy, gender neutral in that respect. In this particular moment right now, it was specifically a reference to a Treyu falling into the nothing.
I mean the editorial, this boy.
But editorial. It's the royal, this boy. The collective, this boy.
The collective, this boy.
Yeah, it is just right. Like, it is amazing to me.
And that's, of course,
that Atreyu,
when they meet,
right? And I do think
the golden retriever, which again,
yes, of course,
you need. Look, after all that, and we're fucking half-hour tops into the movie.
We're a little further,
like maybe.
I think we're a little further, but okay,
maybe
we might be on the back out. Yeah,
maybe a little past the 30-minute mark. Give me a big fucking happy dog that flies, and maybe doesn't have all the answers, but like at least has hope. Like he's got that. He's like, yeah, man, I don't know either, but like,
what? Yeah.
But he's like, we're gonna find out together. You've got a luck dragon with you. He's all happy and shit. Look, scratch my ear. Oh, when he scratches the ear. Oh God. Oh,
see, that's where they knew.
Moments of, Jesus, yeah. Let me scratch Falcor's ear.
Ende out here.
Tomorrow,
like,
if they did one of them fucking, like they do installations here in Hollywood, they do these like.
If they did a Falcor ear scratch installation. They did a
Falcor installation where you could scratch his ear and it wiggles. I'm there.
You up there at 3 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, bright afternoon. Yeah, bright afternoon.
Like I'll stay up for that over.
I bet you.
Like
would.
you and I now. You and I went into the Toy Story 5 standee to get a photo.
Yes.
I'm going to. I don't even need a photo. I'm just going to pet the Falcon.
I'm not even paying for a ticket. I'm just showing up for the installation. To get it done.
Yeah.
Now, my question for you about the Falcor of it all is because everything that you just described, the joy, the happiness. Hey, man, it's been 50 minutes of unrelenting misery.
Yeah.
I've been in the swamp of
everybody
sadness.
In this movie.
Everybody's fucking dying. Nobody's fucking happy. Oh, look at this nice pretty luck dragon.
Rocklighter's already gone. The guy with his bat friend, the Oompa Loompa with his racing snail. Even Morlock or whatever.
Yeah. And on the other side,
the
molar, the molar, the molar.
Fucking Artax is gone. The Swamp of Sadness got him.
Right, like, he didn't fall back into the nothing.
Literally, they're flying through empty space. Give me a big flying fucking golden retriever. I need.
And now Ende is out here being like, and that is the exact point in time in which we must punish him. We must hammer home the theme. Because I like, you are right in the sense of, I get it. And they're like, we gotta have a big fun, friendly dog. But the movie plays very differently if a fucking, a fucking beast with the body and head of a dragon and the head of a lion, right? What the Chimera's got the body and the head of a lion. It's got a goat's head in its back. It's got a serpent for a tail.
Mm-hmm.
So you out here bringing that shit in, right?
Yeah.
I can imagine a young Mitch is like, hey, man, shit seems like it's just going to get even more grim. Mm-hmm. Can we? No, you're not scratching that behind the ear, are you?
I'll let you do like a Mufasa. If you just do all lion, sure. Okay.
Yeah.
But
now I think it's fascinating here because
a flying golden retriever.
I'd really now let me walk you through this this sound stage that we got over here, brother. You see that airplane over there? That's gonna become Falcor, okay?
Yeah.
That's what we gonna do, all right?
Let me show you some sketches. Looks like a golden retriever.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Now we took a little bit of that Year of the Dragon shit that you was talking about, and we kept some of it. It got the mustache, but for the most part,
it's got some scales on his back. It's got a little bit.
got a little bit, and it's elongated. That's where that airplane come in. But
he's a dragon without wings, so
yeah, it really is.
Listen, I said, I know a golden retriever when I see one. That's a golden retriever.
Look, and you painted that golden retriever white. You're not fooling me.
Yeah.
Now I think we're coming closer to the dramatic conclusion of the film before we obviously give it our evaluations, things of that nature.
Oh, okay. I think there was two things we one quick thing.
Okay.
The scientist guy who, like, all of his life he's studied the sirens, or the two ladies,
yes.
Are they the siren? They call them sirens?
The mirror gate
sphinxes,
or whatever.
The sphinxes.
The sphinxes. Yes.
They got nipples. As a young boy, I definitely clocked that they had nipples.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
I had a thing for them sphinxes. I don't know.
Let's see. They have a little bit of an exotic feel.
Well, like that scene kind of threw me off because, like, he's obsessed with he knows everything there is to know about it. Blah blah. It's all science, interesting, but he sees this knight in shining armor approach the sphinxes, and he's mocking that dude the whole time. He's like, "Look at this fucking guy!"
Yeah, he's got. And he's like,
"Oh, you think you got let's see if he blah blah."
None.
And then he gets blown up, and the guy's like, "Oh no!" And like, wait a minute, what happened to the guy talking shit 30 seconds ago?
Yeah,
like you were talking mad shit. Like, I'm gonna watch this dude die. He dies, and you go, "Oh!" Like, wait a. What kind of crocodile tears? Like, am I reading that wrong? Like, he was definitely mocking the knight up until the moment he got blowed the fuck up.
It seems a little bit. It seems like he was a little bit flippant there. I mean, that whole scene is really fascinating because you've got the oracle or whatever, right? And you got to get there, and then you got to, you have to face her to reveal their real self or whatever.
Right.
And again, very heavy idea to drop into a children's film.
Yeah.
That the fantasy of the book is truly a journey into finding your real self and what is being reflected back at you. But also, right, Atreyu is wilding the fuck out in that scene. Isn't that the one where he was like, "Hey," he said, "you want to kill me? You want to kill me?" Or maybe I may be jumping ahead a little bit. But Atreyu is basically like, he is like, "I gotta go," and they're like, "Don't go. You gotta go." To me, Atreyu comes out of this scene basically for the Mitch of you, like he not sad no more. Atreyu ready to kill everybody. He ready to go to the gate.
Oh yeah.
He ready to die. He ready to get his face blasted off.
Although,
you know what I'm saying?
The thing that I clocked is when he passes the Sphinx, the whole thing is you got to be confident, you got to believe in yourself, and you can live. And it's like he believes himself just enough to get out of their eye line, and he books it.
Right.
He still gets shot at, and I'm like, wait, do they only get one? They don't try again. It's like, if he didn't dive out of the way, did he believe himself enough?
To me,
just barely enough? What is
just enough? He believed in himself just enough. But to me, that's also the confidence in your product where you're like, "Hey, man, I don't need to do a bunch of these. It's a one and done. There's a one hitter quitter over here. All right, we're not wasting all of this Sphinx ray gun."
Does the head move?
Know.
No, we don't need to make the head move. We'll get him on that first shot. You bet your ass we'll get him on that first shot.
We don't need to worry about no follow-up.
You want to give it a shot? You feel confident enough? You want to walk the Sphinxes? I'm good. Yeah. I'm good, man. I'm good.
I'd love to see you test it out. I'd love to see you walk through it. Please. Go for it.
We are 1 for like 100 on happy scenes out of all the scenes have happened so far. We met Falcor. There you go.
That's fair.
That's it.
That's only happy for you.
That's
because your man Michael Ende is not thrilled by that scene.
Fair. You say for you, but again, for royal you.
Yeah, for the royal you author excluded. That's a happy
the people.
Scene.
Got to meet Falcor.
Now, maybe you could say Bastion finding the book is happy, but then the book is immediately fucking off to the races, so shit is rough from jump.
Listen.
There's another happy scene at the very end.
It's a neutral. Him finding the book is neutral.
That's fair. There's obviously another happy scene that comes towards the end.
Obviously, had he never picked up the book, we wouldn't know the story. But also, had he never picked up the book, he wouldn't have to go through all this.
That's also fair.
So, take the good, take the bad.
But where we have Gamork, I think he's talking to Atreyu, right?
Yeah. And
he has...
Good Lord, he was scary when I was a kid.
I mean,
right?
Gamork, Gamork is not a...
Gamork is the anti-Falcor. Now, Gamork you can make as fucking scary as you want. But like,
right.
If Endo might have been like, now this shit, shit I like.
Right. Yeah, and Gamork, right? Like, I mean, it understands Gamork is the anti-Falcor, and you're like, yo, this motherfucker gotta die, son. You out here saying a lot of shit. And yeah, when you tell me people who have no hope are easy to control, whoever has control has the power, those are beyond fighting words. But also, that is a fucking, you want to talk about a shot across the bow for a children's movie. I wrote down when he said that, I had to like pause it and write down exactly what he said. Because I was like, oh, Gamork is MAGA. Okay. Like that specific line, people who have no hopes are easy to control. That's where we're at. Yeah. Right.
Like,
and whoever has the control has the power.
Reality.
I think the second part of it is almost even more poignant, of the sense of, right, so much of this is, well, I'm in control, I have power, I don't have to abide by any precedents or any long-standing norms or rules or law or the
step one,
like, any
take
of that
away
shit.
the hope. Step two, control. Step three,
now
power.
You know, possession, 9/10 of the law as government, get the fuck out of here. It is incredibly depressing how relevant that line is to the current political situation in this country.
And it worked in 1984 as well, because he was like, yeah, people are losing their imagination. They're not dreaming as much. And even Bastion, he's got that, when back to the book, he's like, no, I have to stay grounded. I gotta keep my head out of the clouds and all, which I think is later in the movie, but it's still, that's the theme throughout. Is that like, hey, none of that dreaming shit. And it's like, well, that's what got us. That's what got us in this fucking mess.
Right.
That's why there's a nothing coming.
You've got to have some sense of imagination, right? But it can't go so far that it becomes all encompassing. And, the other item is like, you have no sense of imagination whatsoever, right? There's got to be some sense of equilibrium here, some sense of balance. But
Gamork don't give a shit about none of that.
None of that shit. No more. And I do appreciate the fact that Atreyu was like, you talking that shit, you want to kill me, you gonna have to come kill me, bitch.
The big reveal where Gamork is like, there was a guy out there hunting for me, but I lost him somewhere in the swamp of sadness. And Atreyu was like, you talking about me? Funny. You know what I mean? I came here to kill you. Yeah. So
what you want to do then?
Let's fucking
what
do
you want to
shit.
do then, right? I'm saying,
like when he goes, I am Atreyu. He goes, like Gamork's got that look of like, oh it is on.
I am Atreyu.
Yeah. But I fuck with the fact that Atreyu gets the arc of he done watched everyone die, he done suffered, he done fallen into the nothing, he done fallen into the swamp. And what must you do in the face of such adversity, right? You must stab that bitch in. No, just kidding.
Right in the throat.
You gotta go right for it. You gotta go right for the jugular. You gotta fight. You gotta fight. You can't succumb.
And we finally, it's also an interesting tactic that the most information we've gotten this whole movie is from like the biggest cheerleader of the destruction that's on the way. Like Gamork is like it's kind of like an interview with like a Republican who kind of knows what's going on, where they just lay out the plan. Where you're like, so you just,
because they don't fear any real consequences. Like, we're gonna steal
you're just evil, and they're like, here's our evil plan, and you're like,
truly.
Well, I guess at least we're having this interview, and that's the discussion with Gamork is he's just like, let me just lay it out for you. Let me explain what the nothing is, why you can't get outside of Fantasia, why you're fucked,
why
it happened, why I'm cheering on.
and I'm definitely killing your bitch ass at the end of this. Like, I don't.
Ask
please
your
don't get it
questions
twisted
now, because that throat looking real
It's a wrap.
juicy.
So a wrap for you. Keep your hand off that knife handle. I see you. I see you. Keep it sheath. Keep it sheath.
Like a bit of broken rock, as far as I can tell. Yeah. You'd think he'd carry more than just the arrows.
Let's call it an emperor. You would think. Well, Atreyu's been going through it, so he had to. But credit to the boy for the improvised weapon, though, because Atreyu wasn't going out like a sucker. He said, "Hey, I'm grabbing whatever I got to get by any means necessary."
Deus ex machina in the form of a sharp piece of granite on the ground. Rockbiter would be so proud.
Rockbiter.
But yeah, do you remember as a kid, do you remember your feelings towards any characters? Do you remember going, oh, I love Falcor, I hate Gmork, or Gmork is scary?
I love Falcor. I mean, who didn't want to ride on a Falcor? That shit was dope as hell.
Yeah.
I love the war. I mean, Atreyu, he was riding the horses. He had the warrior spirit. You know what I mean? I really fuck with him. I liked Rockbiter because I thought he was cool.
He was doubted from the beginning. They were like, a child. It's like, we're looking for Atreyu. Like, he's 8 feet tall. He's got muscles.
And I fucked heavy with that shit. Like, hey, man, y'all out here talking like my boy ain't no warrior. He go, all right, man. Y'all go really see what time it is here. All right? Put me in the game, coach. Rockbiter.
Listen, your Empress is a child. I mean, what? This ain't that weird.
It's a little weird.
I'm saying it's not that weird. Atreyu is a big warrior. If your Empress is a child, that's what I'm saying.
Fair point. Yes,
the Empress being a child. Yes, that's weird, but
yes,
you can't.
But for me,
weird.
You can't look down upon me.
Yeah.
No. Y'all got no case here.
Yeah.
I definitely remember Rockbiter and just feeling like I used to compare Rockbiter to a more upright Snuffleupagus.
Okay. Yeah. Or like an Eeyore.
Like though. I mean, he felt he had a little bit of charisma, I guess.
That's fine.
It wasn't that sad. I mean, actually, I guess the Eeyore is also good because, if I think about the "these are good hands" speech, that's pretty Eeyore. I don't think Eeyore would be anywhere near as eloquent.
I used to think they were big, strong hands.
Yeah, I don't think Eeyore ever gives you that level of eloquence. But
Eeyore, my favorite Eeyore moment actually was an episode where Pooh got worried about him because Eeyore was sitting up on this hill. Every night he'd go up that hill. And, like towards the end of the day, everybody's partying and having a good time, and Eeyore would fuck off to that hill. And Pooh was like, I got to go see. And he goes up to see Eeyore, and he's like, man, I'm like, we're all partying. You keep coming up to this hill. He's like, I don't come up here because I'm sad. I come up here because of this. And like, you look out, and the sun's just setting, and it's gorgeous. And Pooh's like, it's beautiful. And he's like, it makes me happy. And I'm like, that's my guy. Anyway. Quick Eeyore aside.
It contains. I didn't know you were such an Eeyore. I didn't know you were Eeyore.
I had a stuffed Eeyore growing up, so I was a big Eeyore guy.
Well, that's interesting.
Meteor and Eeyore.
Okay. That's an impeccable branding. But I think the other character was probably the gnomes. I thought were a little bit like man, like y'all are supposed to be helping me usher in this a little bit, but I don't know if I can really trust y'all. No disrespect to the gnome population, but like y'all are not coming across as the most trustworthy individuals in this situation.
Your interpersonal relationship seems a little
yeah. There's some dysfunction here that's bleeding into my quest.
I don't even know if y'all trust each other, so I don't know how I'm supposed
and
to
there's
trust
2 gates.
You.
And I'm supposed to. I don't know about that. But I would say those are probably. How about yourself?
I mean, I obviously loved Falcor, but I do distinctly recall being scared shitless by Gmork. Like, early memories. I remember being like, "Oy." Similarly, and I haven't seen it since I was a kid. I'm sure it doesn't scare me or whatever anymore. But did you ever see the movie The Last Unicorn?
It sounds very familiar.
I don't remember much about the movie, but there's this giant. My memory in my mind's eye, there's a giant red bull or a black bull, but I think he's like glowing red.
Yes,
he's got red eyes.
That is correct.
And in the movie, I think he's like really big in the movie, but maybe it's just my memory. But that bull scared the shit out of me as a kid.
I can see that.
Gmork.
It's pretty terrifying.
That bull. I'm sure there's plenty of other, but like of characters in films that like gave me the heebie-jeebies when I was a kid, Gamorka's way up there. I think because of the combination between like he looks like a rabid dog, he's big scary wolf kind of thing, but he's also got that I don't give a shit. But it's the part where he's like, no, I'm rooting for it. Like, all I'm here to do is make sure that nothing takes over, and anybody who gets in the way of the nothing, I'm gonna kill. And them's the facts. Like,
I got real clear life perspective.
Yeah.
Ain't a lot of ambiguity in my purview. Okay.
That's what was fucking with me as a kid, because it was like, you know,
he's got such a purpose and
stark contrast of like, I know. Yeah, I know it's bad. I'm here for it.
Yeah,
it's like such a, oh, fuck you.
It was like, what you think I signed up
and
for?
Realize that adults are like that too. Still hurts me. Still hurts.
Yeah. Oh, you're talking about the crime? Yeah. That's why I signed the deal. This is a crime place. You don't want to work for the crime team? You in the wrong spot, pal.
I don't want to stop the crime. My job is to make sure the crime can continue unabated, and I get a piece of it. What you hear this?
You hear this guy? He talking about how we stopped the nothing.
Yeah, Gamorka's over there. Gamorka's over there like buying stock in the nothing. Like, Gamorka's like, my whole index fund is the nothing and nothing related.
Children named after the nothing. He got his kids named like the nothing, like George Foreman named his kids after himself. Okay, he naming all of them. Nothing 12, nothing 13. Yeah, they all nothing up.
I come from a long line of nothings. And then, I mean, again, efficiency, because then smack bang, I believe 3 seconds later, he's on Falcor's ass, and you know, hey, we're flying through diddly squat.
We ride
to the big tower.
Try to make it happen.
Gotta go meet the Empress.
Gotta meet the Empress, who, you know, they get there, they do all the stuff right after the rescue and all that stuff. I mean, again, the climax here, like, right? With
perfect casting yet again with that Empress.
Yeah.
And I remember for a very long time, I just looked it up on IMDb, you know, obviously for this, because I was like, and then she never acted again. And that was true until 2008, 25 years almost. She went doing nothing. I was like, how did this girl, like, today she'd get an Oscar for this role. Like, killed it. Not necessarily because it's a kid's movie, blah, blah, but acting wise, holy shit, she kills it.
Acting like an 11-year-old who's got the maturity to be an empress and having
the weight of the world.
But the weight of the world on the shoulders. Yeah, she's great in that. I also, when Atreyu gets to the Empress and he is just running through that checklist of everything that he survived. And you know what I'm saying? Like the boy, as I'm saying, will this boy ever know peace? He's like, I'd have been in the swamp. They killed my horse. I got knocked off. They shoot arrows at me. Gamork tried to murder me.
My fucking neck. I got shot at by sphinxes. The fucking whole world blew up around me.
And then you know what? You got the audacity.
Trees attacked me. I got sneezed on by a turtle.
Emperor's got the audacity to tell me what he has suffered with you when you were suffering. Who you talking about? I don't know who you're talking about. What boy that is?
I tell you, as recently as last week, when she looks at him, nay, us, and she says, he's here. He's been with you the whole time. I think even right this minute. Goosebumps. You can't see it on this webcam, but I swear to God, if you were goose. I'm telling you, literally, I can't believe as recently as last week when she said that, I was like, ooh,
I got you.
Ooh, that's the good stuff. Oh, that's the good stuff.
It builds perfectly to him.
It just came out of I knew obviously, she's like, hey, BT dubs, but I think I didn't remember the exact wording and stuff like that. But ooh, the bumps of Goose.
It's incredible. And then, yelling out, Moonchild, culmination. They play it all amazing.
Now, see, first of all, there's no way Bastion's mother's name was Moonchild. But I
could see that dad. I could see that dad marrying a hippie, and then she dies and leaves him, and then he's like, absolutely not. I'm cold. I'm back.
I'm not raising your hippie-ass son.
Yeah. Get your head out that imagination and get in those books.
I thought my whole life until I started watching shit with subtitles on, I thought the whole point was that we weren't supposed to know his mother's name. That we were supposed to insert whatever name we wanted ourselves. I thought that was part of the movie. I genuinely, until maybe a few years ago, I thought we were never supposed to know his mom's name. And that's why the thunder cracks and he screams at the exact moment. I thought we weren't supposed to know that name. All my life, I thought we weren't supposed to know that name. That we were supposed to insert name here. Like you bring it. You watching?
No.
You're part of the NeverEnding Story as well.
Nope. Not your mother. No. Not at all.
It kills me that it's not that. That's the way to do it. I put a little extra panache on the thing that I thought for sure we weren't supposed to know what that name was. And that's why they make all the sound effects and shit. You're telling me it was just bad sound editing? I thought for sure we weren't supposed to know that fucking name. Because he never says it before. He never says it again. He only says it in that moment. And I thought
that's because of the culmination. We're part
of the NeverEnding Story by watching the NeverEnding Story. And so, hey, you at home, you yell out a name right now.
No, that's just the climax of him finally having the courage and confidence to say his mother's name out loud after she died, and he can't even utter it.
Yeah.
It's been there on his heart.
I understand.
What it is.
All of that still applies. I'm taking none of that away. I'm saying that I don't think we were supposed to know her name.
Well, you're not supposed to know the name until the end when he says it.
I don't think we're supposed to know it then.
Oh, I think you're absolutely supposed to know the woman's name because it's in the damn book.
I think it's a better story if we don't know the name.
Now, the happiest thing that happens in this movie is obviously the end. I'm not talking about saving Fantasia and all of that.
But
we know what that is.
The part where don't skip over that she puts the last of Fantasia in his hand.
Sure.
And she's
the last
like,
remnant.
Wish for whatever you want. Just even again last week, I was just almost on the edge of tears. And I don't really have an answer as to why. Like, was it happy tears? Was it sad tears? I don't know. But God, it hits hard to be like, there you go. All of Fantasia is now a tiny grain of glowing sand in your little fucking hand, Bastion, who thought you were just reading a book in an attic. That hit like a ton of bricks as a kid. Yeah. But yeah, when he's like, I got something I can wish for, I'm like, Falcor?
Yeah.
It's maybe Falcor.
Well, two. Falcor number one. Right. Falcor and actually riding through, all right, you see everything restored. Yeah. You get to see Atreyu, right? They brought back to you. They brought back Artax at the very end of the movie.
Goddamn right.
Over here was like,
we got a final shot of Artax kicking ass on the plains. Yeah.
So it's not wish number one, but wish number two, where Falcor is like, hey, what you want to do next?
Yeah.
You gotta, I might actually have to bump it up to number one. No disrespect to Atreyu and Artax. I'll see y'all later. But riding Falcor into the real world, down the alley, chasing these bullies. Yes.
Riding Falcor as an act of revenge is...
Yes. Specifically, right?
Little bullied me.
Feel good.
Oh, God. Yeah. It filled my heart.
Feel good.
Oh.
But what I love about it, what I love about it is feel good, though, is it's not just nice, positive, uplifting feel good. It's vengeful. It's spiteful. It's petty. Like Bastion wasn't like, I'm going to be the bigger person and I'm going to go and I'm going to do whatever. That man said, I'm hopping on your back and we're going to chase these bitch ass losers down.
We're going to chase these kids into a goddamn dumpster is what we're going to do.
Right?
BT.
I'm going to give them the exact same treatment. Oh, and if you think of sticking your head out that dumpster, my big golden retriever lion dragon will be waiting. Mm-hmm. You're going to stay in there for at least 2 hours. But to me, incredible. that the feel good moment of the movie is also one of the most vengeful things in the entire movie. It's unrepentant about it. He's like, yeah, vengeance, yeah, and I was like, hell yeah.
You got to think they like looked at and they were like, let me show you how we do it in America. We got on a giant fucking golden retriever and we chase down our goddamn enemies and we throw them in trash cans. That's what we do.
Yeah, throw them in trash cans.
And we scream, and then laugh the whole time. Scream laughing while he goes,
yeah. Like what I also love about Falkor as this gentle old soul beast, he ain't got no qualms or reservations about fucking doing the dirty work. Bastion was like, hey, I want to go chase these goons down.
When he whispers in his ear, the laugh that Falkor had, warms the cockles of the heart.
He goes back to that. Back to later. Yeah.
Like that. He goes, all right. Like he's like, oh yeah, I totally get what you want to do. I 100%
Falkor has no problem catching a body.
He's like, you want me to shit on him while we're at it? I'll shit on him. I don't give a fuck.
Great. You want me to drop him off in the middle of nothing?
Throw him in the air? I don't give a shit. Yeah. Look at the size of these paws. You think I could fuck some shit up? I could fuck some shit up with these paws.
I will kill these guys for you. Right? And I love I love that
shit dies all the time where I'm from.
They're fucking up the bullies, and then you get the narrator being like, well, he had many more wishes and adventures before returning to the ordinary world, but that's another story. They're just like, hey, man, the back half of that novel, we get to all that shit, son.
This is how we do it in America.
What are the other wishes? All the other wishes, we're just gonna end on these bullies in the trash can. Quite honestly, a very uplifting ending, image, and scene for 1984's America. To be very candid.
All right, so you said in the opening, I believe, unequivocally, this is a kid's movie.
Yes, 100%. 100%. Okay. Now we can say kid, young adult, not quite a teenager, but this is a movie. I feel like it doesn't. I don't know.
Young adult feels a little old, but I don't know.
I think young adult feels a little bit too old because Bastion's in that like 6th grade middle school. He's still very young. It still feels a little prepubescent. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm thinking 4th to 6th grade, somewhere in that range.
10 to 12. Sandlot. It's very Sandlot. Very Jason. But I think it's unequivocally a children's movie. I think, as always, some people, take different approaches to children. And like we talked about, they're not adults, but it doesn't hurt to treat them like they have some sentience and understanding, and they're not just children and invalids, right? And so this is a movie that's very designed to be like, hey, you as a child, the world is fucked up and terrible, but you must get through it and you must endure. And it doesn't pull its punches, but it is clearly for children. It is not a movie that I think would be made for children in the same way. But I think it's important to have movies that present life to children in a somewhat unflinching fashion, especially, depending on your circumstances.
Yeah, absolutely. This goes, we've talked about it enough on, quite a lot on this show, where I've said, like, we just don't make kids movies like we used to. This is one very good example of exactly that. Today's kids would be enriched by a story like this, told as bleak or bleaker, I think.
Yeah. Sounds like we smoothed off a little bit.
But like, I feel like the kids' movies that I watched, and I'm not trying to, everything was rosy in my day. Not saying that, but the kids' movies I watched had grit and dirt and injury and stakes that it feels like they don't have. Kids having full agency and getting into adventures that had no parents around whatsoever. Goonies. Gremlins, I guess not Gremlins, wasn't no kids, but Goonies, very much so. NeverEnding Story, very much so. You know what I mean? Sandlot, very much so. Where it's kids getting into adventures, going their own way, doing their own thing. They're not constantly being hovered over. Right. There's not a parent constantly wondering where they are, what they're doing.
Right.
The parents
Yeah,
largely
this is
either absent, didn't give a shit, you know. Who knows?
Especially if a movie is dealing with because I think it's one thing if like, okay, you're trying to get into different, themes or whatever, right? But NeverEnding Story is a movie dealing with some of the heaviest themes that you can deal with as a child, right? Grief, loss, not fitting in, all of those things compounding on each other, right? And so I think even when you look at some of the stuff of like, okay, I think that the best example, right, is, is there a villain in an Encanto, right? Like, that's technically a children's movie, that's Pixar, but I don't really think there is. It's a house and you got to figure it out, but like, there's not a villain. Do you know what I mean? Whereas
I'm afraid I would have no frame of reference for that one.
Well,
Sorry.
That's another Pixar film. That's a Disney Pixar film. Well, but I don't think there's a villain. Whereas in like, okay, Aladdin, right? Sleeping Beauty, right? Cinderella. There are clear villains. There are clear individuals who have aims that are diametrically opposed to you, right? And I do think some of this is also, do I need an origin story about Cruella de Vil that sympathizes her to me? No. She is a deranged woman who wants to skin and kill puppies and do fashion. That's it. Yeah. We don't need all of that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like another example of this to me on another Disney side, because I think they're obviously at the epicenter of this, just given who they are and the content that they have, is the Little Mermaid live action version from a couple of years ago, where they got rid of some of the lyrics from Kiss the Girl, right? Because they're like, it's a little bit too whatever. They changed it. And it's like, all right, man. I don't know about all that. They cut some of the stuff from Ursula's Poor Unfortunate Souls, where she's talking about, the girl not having a voice, and the girl who hold their tongue to get a man or whatever, to stay quiet. And they're like, no, we don't want that message in there. She's a villain. That's the story.
Yeah.
What are we doing? So the idea that you would be able to make the NeverEnding Story in this environment with those kinds of mealy mouth choices, when this is such a big, bold, completely unflinching story, seems like good luck. I don't really understand how you pull that off. Right. But good luck. I don't think studios are trusting people, and I don't know if it's you can say studios, whoever it is, but I do not think that in the 40 plus years, right, there has been a decline in trusting kids to sit with, genuine menace and fear and loss. And I think the menace that you are describing with Gamork, right? Like, you don't get that level of menace in some of your children's films anymore. Where, like, I remember with The Princess and the Frog, where the voodoo man, and people were like, yo, this guy's fucking terrifying. I was like, well, this guy reminds me a lot of my uncles from New Orleans, but I get it. I can see it. Like, his presentation is pretty fucking terrifying, but like, he's a real villain. He's scary. The guy's on the other side. He's got friends. Like, he's not supposed to make you feel good. He's a fucking villain. Yeah. And so it's just kind of wild to look at this story and be like, oh, you guys, I don't see how you could do that now, because you don't trust the children to sit with these things and without softening it or explaining it away with some bullshit origin story about why this was okay for this person to be that way. Sometimes people are like Gamork and they just want to watch the fucking world burn.
A recent example that we just explored, the villain in Toy Story 1 was the last true villain they had.
Yeah.
I mean, the other ones are toys, villainous as they are, but they're toys.
Lotso is a little bit. Lotso be fucking with them a little bit, so maybe.
But I mean, still toy. But as far as like real life villains, I mean, in Toy Story 2, he's just a weird capitalist, really. Not excusing his actions, but that's what we're talking about. A collector, you know what I mean? In certain lights, he's just a nerd. But already forgot his name. The next door neighbor.
Sid.
I was about to call him Spike, but Spike's the dog. Yeah. Sid, that's a villain. Like, he's a shitty kid, like out to destroy everything everywhere he goes. He's like, what can I break? What can I blow up?
I will say.
So even
Yeah,
there,
the other-
even in the 90s, we still had them, but like somehow,
Right.
we sanitize and we take away. And one could make the argument that by taking away true villains, we are losing our ability to see true villains.
It's a very astute point. If you cannot figure them out early and get the associations, it's hard for you to grow up and understand them. And, I think last probably real Disney villain, because we're, again, a lot of sanitization there, is probably you would have to go back to something like Frozen with Prince Han, right? But that's a fucking decade ago. That's a long time to not have a real bad guy, bad woman, bad person, thing, whatever, in a fucking villain capacity, right? And I come back to that story from Superman with James Gunn and Lex Luthor, where they were like, oh, there's a scene where he like shot a dog, and they're like, ooh, that's too rough. And I'm like, he's Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
That's what he does.
I appreciated that he shot the one guy in the glass cage. I did not see that coming. I was like, thank God for that.
But there's this sense, like, to your point, like, you have to show villains being kind of cruel and mean in the hopes that you identify it in these representations and then you don't let it reproduce itself in real life. But if every fucking bad person gets sanitized into some sort of sympathetic portrait, sure, could you do that? Okay, is it necessary or helpful? Or compelling, even? I don't know if it is.
No. Because you got to show where, villainy goes. Like, take the next step. You know what I mean? Just being like, oh, he's a big bad villain, he gets defeated. Well, we don't know what they were up to left to their own devices, right? Show me a little of what their reality looks like. Show me a little of, like, what are they hoping for? What's the world they're trying to create?
A villain origin story can sometimes be interesting, but I think I
don't mean like origin story. I just mean like it's pretty obvious, like
a little peek,
like Gamork lays out like here's what I'm up about.
Yeah,
here's what I'm gonna do. Here's what the plan. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and so I think good in all respects. I think it holds up incredibly well from a practical standpoint. I mean, the fact that this movie, they spent what they did at the time, right? Most expensive movie in Europe or whatever it is, right? The stat. It's extraordinary, but it pays off. Like, these things still hold up well as visual spectacles in a way that $1 million movies with exponentially more money look atrocious in comparison. I think the story itself, going all the way back to the original book in 1979 to now, continues to be resonant and important for kids and probably adults as well. And there's a lot of hokey nostalgia in there, but could I easily envision sitting down with a kid and be like, oh, you got to watch this thing. If I found a troubled youth who, was very Bastion, like, you could easily put this on and have it connect and cross.
And it's a brisk 90 minutes. It gets over. It hits the ground running. And I think
not a lot of slack in the movie.
Oh, if there's no room for slack. I think that's also a convenient thing, I think, is that you could set a kid down for 5 minutes if they could get off their iPad for 5 minutes. And within 5 minutes, they're either into the story or they're done. But if they're into the story, like, it's not letting up. It's not like, oh, well, here's the part where it gets kind of slow and boring.
It keeps getting more interesting. It keeps getting more interesting. Yeah, I think that's where, like, yes, it is very, very compelling. I'm curious to see what, if anything, happens with the supposed reboot, even though you signed the contract. It's been a couple of years now, and it just feels like while we would be due for a story like this presented in a more faithful adaptation, you have to doubt the ability and willingness, really, to pull it off.
I think give it to somebody who doesn't do kids' movies.
This is like giving the Harry Potters to, like, Christopher Columbus when he made the first 3, and he was just like, yo, these shits is like real. Although, granted, that's kind of the opposite because he did the Home Alone, so he was sort of, well known for these types of things. So it's actually quite possibly the worst example. And
who was I thinking of? One of the movies that we in our early, I don't know if it wasn't Small Soldiers because it's Joe Dante and he's done kid stuff, but we were talking about some movie early on where the director like didn't really understand kids, but he kind of got it while he was working on the film. I don't remember who it was off the top of my head, but whatever. Similar kind of idea. Somebody who's like doesn't really know how to deal with it, but like you get a good movie out of it all the same. That's what you need.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't want it in the hands of Disney for sure.
No, it's got to stay out. It's got to have some independent vibes to it. And you can't necessarily pull your punches. So, you know, and I think now more than ever, you've got an environment where bullying has taken on such new dimensions and facets that it's depressing how relevant the story is in many respects, right?
Yeah.
But I think these both hold up as coming of age classics, if you will. I guess The Sandlot's a little bit more coming of age than
This is less. This is just like
this is like a fantasy version, adventure,
just a good fantasy
thing.
film. Yeah,
just good practical effects, romp in the park. But yeah, I think tremendous film that definitely deserves its cultural place. And here we are 40 some odd years later, and they are still trying to do it. But a kudos to this original version for even if it was not what Ende was exactly anticipating or envisioning, and he put his family into a blood feud regarding the rights for this thing. It's still a pretty wondrous piece of work, both the original book as well as this adaptation.
Yeah, and I'm sure as the much like Stephen King hates Stanley Kubrick's The Shining, and the rest of us are like, come on, man, that's a fucking fantastic film. Right. But he's like, but it's not my, like, okay, take yourself out of it. You can't. I understand that from an artistic perspective. You're going, that's not my story. Okay.
Right. But it's still a good story. Nope.
It's a damn good story. It's a damn good movie. I'm sorry that he would never be able to see it that way. I don't disagree with him because I don't, there's what he wanted, what he intended. Listen, man, but I wish he'd known, hey man, for all your probably extremely valid concerns, man, I'm telling you, they spun some gold out of what you considered trash. And for that, I say, God bless him.
I can't disagree with that.
Well, you want to tease what's next?
We are shifting gears, moving out of the world of the old silver screen for a bit to the small screen for a show that was first introduced to me by the gentleman on screen in the context of, boy, did I come across an incredibly dark and depressing TV show. It's got your name written all over it. I am, of course, referring to Black Mirror, which, started on the BBC, Charlie Booker, and now, on Netflix after all these seasons. We will be going back and looking through the dystopian archives, as it sounds like they are getting the band back together for a new version of Black Mirror coming out maybe later this year. So we will be going all the way from the national anthem up until the most recent installment in a multi-episode series. Mitch, when's the last time you took a gander down the old Black Mirror streets?
I haven't even caught the most recent season. That's how
I think I'm a couple two. I think I might be a season or two behind. I might be.
Yeah. They lost me when they did the interactive episode and it wouldn't work with the Apple TV, and I was like, all right, I don't give a shit. And then I kind of forgot that they did a new season. So I'm curious to dive into that. I don't know if it's fallen off. We'll see. But you know how I roll. It's like, look, I could take it where it was. It doesn't need to grow from there. It's fine. I can enjoy what was. If they did something cool later, awesome. If they didn't, whatevs.
The beauty of the retro spectacles, taking life culture as it is, as it was, as it will be. Black Mirror, coming at you next time.